This phrase is called the fear of the thing is often worse than the thing itself, which is so true. And there's another one is how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
Right. It's just calm down, right? You're still going to eat today. You know what I mean? You're still going to have your electricity on. I said, everybody chill out. Genevieve, you mentioned losing a client, gaining a client, and that whole experience, right? Of course, yeah, I'm sure all of us have probably dealt with that at some point, right? Especially early on when you're trying to keep the lights on, right? Those things hit a bit harder. But then also understanding that as long as you're doing outflow, you're doing the right things to get yourself out there so you can get new clients and so forth, that they'll come. And if you're providing a good service, that they'll continue to come. That's perspective. You have to maintain perspective there.
Right.
And not panic, right? Throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's another one.
Right. Exactly. This is what I always say about entrepreneurship. With entrepreneurship, sometimes you're eating steak and sometimes you're eating bologna. You know?
Spam, right? Back
Right.
Yes, I love Spam. We're from Hawaii, though.
Yeah, it's like hot dogs. I don't want to know what's in it, all right? I just
It
want to
just
eat the
tastes
hot
great.
dog.
Exactly.
It just tastes great. But I think one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand, too, is that emotions, it's okay to have emotions. Because a lot of people are like, take the emotion out of it. But that actually does tie in. It's just knowing how to manage those emotions.
I call that entrepreneurial emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence is so important, but when you're an entrepreneur, you have to have entrepreneurial emotional intelligence.
Absolutely.
Emotional intelligence is not just reading other individuals and knowing how to communicate. It's also internalizing and understanding your own emotions as well and how to manage those emotions. So how to intelligently manage them.
Using it as a superpower, especially for the women entrepreneurs that are listening out there. When I first started my business, there was a lot of people that said, take your emotions out of it. You're making decisions based on emotions. And so for the first few years, that's exactly what I was doing. But then at the same time, I felt like I wasn't being myself because I do wear my emotions on my sleeve. But at the same time, as an entrepreneur, you have to be careful not to make decisions led by your emotion. And that's where, it helps to have that emotional support, to have that support system, to have somebody, if they're better at HR, hire somebody else that does that for you versus you. For me, that was my internal struggle because I want to give everybody a job and give them the opportunity. But then that cost me a lot of money because the people I was hiring was not fit for the job. But then when you partner up with someone like Mark and he can get somebody for you, then that makes my job so much easier.
Yeah, have somebody else play the bad guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of getting help, having a peer group or some peers that, like, I've got some really good friends in business now. I think the show has been really, really good for me on that and building relationships out. Well, I didn't start there, but then you get to know these folks that have been through struggles. And then when you're going through something, you feel like, hey, I can have a chat with somebody and be like, we can do it here on the show. We can do it whatever. But it's like, hey, this is where I'm struggling. How have you dealt with this kind of thing? Having peers, I think, is super important to help you realize that you're not a freak, right? This is not the end of the world.
You're not the only one.
We all feel this way at times. It too shall pass, as they say.
Absolutely, yes.
Here's a good one. What does it say? Because a lot of people always worry all the time. Worrying is like a rocking chair. It'll give you something to do, but it won't get you anywhere.